We're in Music City, USA, Nashville, Tennessee, and we're at the Nashville Superspeedway getting ready for qualifying. That's the tune we're going to be playing for the next hour or so as we're getting ready for the 6th stop on the NASCAR Nationwide Series. After a very tough day yesterday where tornadoes ripped through the Nashville area, in fact, unfortunately, 2 people tragically killed, 36 injured, over 100 homes destroyed, and that's just a few miles away from the Nashville Superspeedway. Somehow, it all missed this area, but everybody's thoughts are with everybody involved in those terrible tornadoes as we get ready to go qualifying here as the cars are in line, and there's Stephen Wallace. More on his situation as they've got a bit of a problem getting ready for qualifying. Let's talk about the points championship. Everybody at home from time to time says, hey, you guys talk a lot about Carl and Kyle. Well, there's the reason why, folks. They're 1 and 2 in the points. 38 markers separate the two, and then it drops down to triple digits with David Reagan at 146 behind, all the way down to rookie Scott Lagasse Jr., rounding out the top 10 at 261. Let's hear from Concrete Carl. Shannon Spake is with him.
Yep, a 3-time winner here at Nashville. Spoke with Carl Edwards yesterday before practice. You said that your car has to be perfect in order to win here. How close are you guys?
We're really pretty good. In race trim, Save-A-Lot Fusion was fast, and then we put it in qualifying trim, and I was surprised that the car didn't go that much faster in qualifying, but it was fast, so on the board it was fast. So looking forward to qualifying. The weather's different than I expected. It's really cool and probably be pretty high speeds today, but I think it's good enough.
Now, you also mentioned the points difference between you and Kyle, how he gained some points on you last week. Knowing how good you are here, how important is it for you to finish ahead of the 18 this weekend?
Well, that's important every week. That's our goal is to win the championship, whether we win races or not. That's the first goal. Save-A-Lot and Scott's and all these folks really want to be at that head table at the end of the year. So this is a great race to start. If we can finish in front of him, that'd be good. It looked like him and Joey Logano were both really fast in practice, and Kelly Byers was really fast, so I think it's going to be a heck of a race.
Carl Edwards spent some time with his friend John Cena Sunday night, and he's looking to clothesline the competition here today. Jamie? Marty?
All right, well, the guy who has been clotheslining the competition the last couple of weeks has been Kyle Busch. Let's take you back to Texas, where he led 178 of 200 laps, totally dominating the event. And yeah, the team was happy as with the sealed engine rule, you can't do the burnout. Let's check in. Jamie Littles with Kyle Busch.
Yep, no burnout last week, but yesterday in practice, he ended up 6th overall, but it wasn't without an oh-no moment coming off of 4. Kyle, what is it about turn 4 that makes it so challenging?
Well, they ground the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, added a lot of grip, and then they ground just the bottom of turn 3 all the way to about starting the exit of 4, and then they missed a spot, and then they ground again, and then they missed another spot. So it's kind of tricky going through there because it's not ground all the way, and so sometimes you hit the non-ground spots, and it's a little slick. So you got to be careful of that. That's what caused me to spin out here last year or go through the grass, whatever I did. And it's just a troublesome area for us, and it is what it is. But hopefully today the Z-Line Designs Toyota is going to be nice and be fast, and hopefully we can qualify up near the front and stay up there.
All right, I'm sure that turn 4 will be on Kyle Busch's mind. He rolls off 24th today.
All right, thanks, Jamie. As we come topside and get ready for qualifying, you can see that we're doing our tribute in Nashville to the late Johnny Cash. And no, we're not going to sing because
okay.
No, don't. Let's talk a little bit about this race surface, guys, because first off, we're a lot cooler. It's like 50 degrees out there.
Yeah, I like the cool weather for an early draw, and usually that's good, but I'm a little bit worried. We've got some mist in the air, and I'm wondering what that's going to do for these first qualifiers. Normally that first draw is fast, and the track's fast and got a lot of grip. It's just a little unknown what this mist will do to the track.
And guess who has a car going out second? You got it.
Well, the guys are all talking about they think they got a good qualifying draw because they're going out so early. But I will tell you, yeah, the track's supposed to be fast because it's cool outside. But, man, I will tell you one thing from past experience, I do not like going out early anywhere.
Well, this is a great track for first-time winners in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. 7 out of the 15 events here have been won for the first time in the series by the likes of Greg Biffle, Scott Riggs, Jack Sprague, Jason Leffler, Reed Sorensen, the only winner from the pole, Clint Boyer, and Brad Keselowski just last June. That's the first-time winners, and there's Carl signing some autographs. So as we head towards break time, here's what's coming up on ESPN.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Brought to you by Verizon Wireless, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family, and Lowe's. This season, spring starts at Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Back here at Nashville Superspeedway, we're getting ready for the first qualifying effort, and it'll be rookie Ricky Stenhouse in the Jack Roush number 16 City Financial car. One of 4 looking to make their debut and qualify for their first ever Nationwide Series start. And there he is, the 21-year-old from Olive Branch, Michigan. Finished 4th in the ARCA Series final standings with 3 poles and 2 wins. As on his warm-up lap, there are the other 3 that are attempting to make their first nationwide start.
We're going to find out pretty quick what the racetrack's like, because Ricky was fast in practice. He was 3rd quick in that one and only practice we had, and car looks real good on the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see how fast it is on this first lap.
Yeah, I noticed it kicked out a little bit. The back end did down on his warm-up lap in the middle of 1 and 2, though, so car might be a little bit on the loose side. Track could be a little dirty also.
Well, Ricky's scheduled to do 7 Nationwide Series races, both the Nashville events, plus Kentucky, Milwaukee, Gateway, Iowa, and Memphis.
Pretty good first lap of 29.81. That's only about 3/10 slower than his fastest lap yesterday, and I expect that this second lap will be faster yet.
You think going out first, I mean, the second lap's got to build some confidence in him. He goes right out, right off the bat, first guy on the racetrack. He doesn't probably know what's going to happen out there. And after his first lap, this second lap should be stronger, I would think. And boy.
Oh, yeah. 29.47. Good lap. Fastest lap of the weekend. First time out.
He picked it up a lot that time. A lot of confidence when you go out there. Know what this car is going to do after that first lap is over.
Sort of answers our question. I was going to ask you guys what the effect of the morning mist. We didn't really have any rain, but there was some mist and the cooler temperatures, and they're already faster than they were yesterday.
It looks to me like it hasn't really affected the racetrack at all. It's at least as good as it was last night. And yeah, just like I said, I hate being that first guy to go test it, but it looks like it's good.
Well, he did a nice job, and right now the second car out will be, as we've mentioned, one of your drivers, Brendan Gaughan.
Yeah, brand new paint scheme this week, and the car's all white. His teammate Stephen Wallace, he's got a black car. US Fidelis, his sponsor, and Brendan was really happy with his car yesterday in race form.
When you're sitting down there second to go out, Rusty, and you really have an unknown about the racetrack, do you want to know what that first guy ran?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely, if you're out there watching this first guy go out and run, he runs around the racetrack and rips around there with a lot of grip, that builds a lot of confidence. But if he goes out there and he's sliding all over the place, you're like, oh, man, I'm a little nervous.
Well, Lap Tracker is not showing a good sign right now. When you're below that line in the red, that is not where you want to be, compared to pole sitter Ricky Stenhouse.
He's just going to have to do the same thing Ricky did, just build some confidence for that second lap and see what this car feels like. Let's see what the real story is going to be right now. See if he gets back up to speed.
29.9 on the first lap.
That's not bad. And you saw right there, he's kind of working that car a little bit, like the back end's not quite underneath him as good as he'd like.
Second in the Rookie of the Year championship chase to Justin Allgaier by only 8 points.
He's tracking faster this lap for sure. Got that little dip you see, turn 3, probably entering turn 3, but then pretty strong coming off of 4.
Trying to make a run at it. It's going to be close, but he'll just fall behind, and at 29.6, 0.2 of a second separates him, so I'll put him temporarily on the outside of row number 1 for Brendan Gaughan.
I'll tell you, that lap tracker was a teaser. That baby went up, and then it come down, then it go back up and come back down. I'm like, okay, which direction are we going? But that's a pretty good lap for him. You got to be happy with that.
And there's a crew talking to Ricky. Remember, this is an impound race, as we'll be racing a little bit later this afternoon.
It's really important to get these comments from the driver before he gets out of the car. You want to try to get those fresh comments, what his first reactions are. You want to get that, and then later you'll kind of dissect it more. But you really want those first reactions from the driver.
On the track now, 44-year-old Tony Rain from LaPorte, Indiana.
Tell you what, Tony's been around for a long time. He's been a jack of all trades, running the Cup cars, doing good in the Cup cars, running the Nationwide cars. It seems like if somebody needs a driver, they always call him up and plug him in, because he always does a pretty decent job.
Well, he's had 7 starts here at Nashville. His best qualifying effort was back in 05 when he qualified 9th. His best finish was the June race of 05 where he finished 4th. Right now, that lap tracker heading in the wrong direction.
I tell you what, Andy, I've really been surprised how much these guys have actually picked up on their second lap. I mean, usually you see a couple tenths or maybe nothing, but man, I mean, these cars here, 4 tenths, that's a lot of speed.
We saw a little bit of that yesterday in practice. It seems like that these tires like some heat, and maybe even just a little bit of scuff on them. So I'm not sure that, this concrete surface does give it a little bit of a different dynamic as far as, picking up first or second lap, but it seems like it really likes that lap on them.
Well, the lap tracker is almost identical to the first.
He must have had her wide open the first lap.
Coming across the stripe, second lap, 30.025. So not really that good compared to the other two that have happened so far. Who's going to be coming up next as we continue qualifying? Well, it'll be another member of the Wallace clan, Kenny, in the Border Patrol. Stay with us. Back here at the Nashville Superspeedway as we are qualifying for today's sixth stop on the 2009 Nationwide Series Tour. And you're looking at Kenny Wallace in the Impala Border Patrol machine as 11th in the points right now as he takes the green flag.
Tell you what, he's been doing a really good job in this car. I mean, just like you said, Marty, all the way up to 11th in the points. The car is not funded as well as probably some other teams. I said, boy, he's been doing a great job driving this thing. And like I said, 11th in the points, that's just amazing.
Well, they don't have that Cup affiliation, but they do have a good sponsor in the Border Patrol. And, that is a pretty solid effort when you put this car that close to the top 10. And Kenny, he drove for me. I'm telling you, he is a very solid race car driver.
Well, he has finished second twice here at Nashville Superspeedway in the March race in 05 and the June race of 05. First lap, not looking real good, though, on the lap tracker as he was at 30.4 seconds. And going in the wrong direction on lap 2.
He's a little better than his first lap.
I guarantee all these drivers, Andy, they go out to their first lap, they're going, oh, baby, I didn't expect this. I've never seen cars pick up this much in a long time from first to second lap, so I'm sure all the drivers are going to feel this thing out this first lap because they're watching the rest of these other guys doing it, and they're going to learn a lot that second lap, that's for sure.
Well, he picked up 0.3 of a second on the second lap, 30.15. You see him on the outside of row number 2. So as these cars continue, Ricky Stenhouse is looking pretty good, Shannon.
He was looking pretty good in practice yesterday, too. He was third. Right now, he's on top of the board. Your first qualifying effort in a Nationwide Series, how did it feel out there?
Felt really good. I think the only problem was I think we left a little out there. The whole City Financial team had this car really good, and I think I left a little out there. We'll have to see. Carl goes out here pretty soon, so we'll see what the track's got. Going out first, it's kind of a little iffy. Didn't know what the track really had in it, but we got the car in one piece. We got one for later today.
All right, Ricky Stenhouse on top of the board right now. He did drive sprint cars for Tony Stewart last year, so he's got a lot of veteran help with him this weekend. Marty?
All right, thanks, Shannon. We should tell you David Green in the 07 is on the 5-minute clock, so if you're a David Green fan, keep your fingers crossed they get it together. Take a look right now as Joe Nemechek is on the track.
Looks like Joe got real loose coming to the green right there in 3 and 4. And that's one of the things that's really hard to do is get these cars tight enough for qualifying because they have to run the same setup in qualifying they do in the race. And if they get the car perfect for qualifying, it will really give them a fit in the race because it'll be too tight. You put all that tape on the grill and for qualifying to make it go fast, and it really makes the car loose.
And these engines have got not much horsepower in the hood compared to Cup engines. And if you get loose off of turn 4, that means it kills all your momentum coming to the line to start your lap. And as you can see right now with Joe's lap, his first one's not going to be too good.
The 1992 Series champion at 30.3 seconds on his first lap. What's interesting, guys, 279 start, but it's the first time ever that he's run here at Nashville.
That's hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
Joe's been everywhere. That car was so loose I could actually hear the tires squealing up here in the booth.
Going south again through 3 and 4.
He's just real loose.
Yeah, one thing we need to remember, too, is we had not much practice yesterday compared to what these guys get. 2 hours, a solid 2-hour practice. A lot of them just flat did not have time to do qualifying runs, and Joe could have been one of them.
Well, a much better run on the second lap. 29.9 was able to move him into the 3rd position temporarily. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Marty, there's quite a few drivers out here, never been here in a Nationwide car, but he has been here in an ARCA car. How much will that experience carry over to these cars?
Well, I hope it does a lot. We've had some good runs, sat on the pole here in 2007, but never could finish a race here. Had a tire below the first race and then the engine the second race. But this Tom Snacks Toyota was good in practice. We didn't do a lot of qualifying trim, so don't know where we'll be at yet, but the race trim was really good.
All right, he's going to give it a run, see if he can get on the pole here in the Nationwide Series, Marty.
And as we finish up there, we come out onto the track where Kelly Byers in a big opportunity for him in the 33 Kevin Harvick car that has already won once this year.
I expect him to make the most of this opportunity, though. He's, sitting on the sidelines watching these guys, and I know it's got to be killing him because he was making so much progress last year.
And that's got to be in his mind. Hey, I'm in a car that Kevin Harvick's won in. This thing is fast. I got this incredible opportunity. Just don't screw it up. Take advantage of it, because he was fast yesterday in practice.
Got a good lap going here for the first lap. It's not going to be a pole run, but maybe this second lap he'll have something for him.
Well, if he picks up any at all, he's going to get the pole, that's for sure.
He was 8th quickest in practice, and as he comes across 29.5, it's good enough for the number 2 spot right now. Can he do better on the second lap?
Just a 10th off the pole. It looks like our tracker's going the wrong way off turn 2. I don't know if he got a little tight coming off 2.
Well, it looks actually, Andy, it looks like he just didn't get to keep the car in the bottom of the racetrack on 1 and 2. It got high. I don't know if it got loose or the car was tight, but it just couldn't hold the bottom of the track, that's for sure.
Well, he likes this track. His career best finish of 5th was at this very event last year. And as he comes across this second lap at 29.8, so he actually slowed down a little bit, but he stays on the outside of row number 1 temporarily. So we're going to move over for just a moment or two. Qualifying will continue. There's the look of the guys still to qualify, including points leader Carl Edwards. And the man who's chasing him, Kyle Busch. Well, last year at this race, Kyle Busch started on the pole and led 125 laps, but he ended up 16th, having trouble with turn 4. Scott Wimmer got his only win of the season here last year. And what's going to happen this year? Well, tune in on ESPN starting at 3 p.m. for the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Nashville, presented by Shell. And as we come back out trackside, Michael Annett is now on his qualifying effort. Michael, during practice, was 14th quickest at 29.7.
Yeah, he ran a 29.78 first lap. He's tracking just about the same, maybe a little better here on this second lap.
Been watching him all year long. He's doing a pretty good job in this car. I mean, he's a rookie, that's for sure. You see yellow stripes in the back of this car. Hasn't been to many of these racetracks before, but the guy's been pretty solid on the track, not wrecking hardly any cars, learning a lot. I'm pretty impressed with that.
3rd spot here so far, 29.62. That's a great lap.
And let's check in now with Shannon Spake.
Kenny Wallace is standing by, 11th in the point standings right now. It's been a while since we chatted with you. How are you, and how is this number 28 car?
Well, the U.S. Border Patrol car is handling really good. We always seem to have a little speed issue in qualifying, but so far, so good. Once the race gets going, we work our way to the front. But would like to have more speed in qualifying, so we have to work on that.
We were just talking, this is the 1-year anniversary that you've been with this team. How much have you guys improved over the last year?
Well, we've improved a lot. This time last year, we were about 25th in the points, and we're sitting here 11th now. So, there was something that I was taught years ago. You must first finish to finish first. So we laid the groundwork in these first 5 races, come into Nashville good in the points. So, we just got to keep it going and make our team better every race.
All right, Kenny Wallace, 11th in the point standings right now in the Nationwide Series. Marty?
Thank you, Shannon. As we take a look at Bernie Lamar, who was 9th quickest in practice yesterday. He's a little bit below the line right now on lap number 1.
Tell you what, this car has got a great attitude. The front end's right on the ground. In fact, in the straightaways, Andy, I was noticing the left front corner of the air dam is actually touching the straightaway. I mean, in the straightaway, it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, it is. And that's the goal of what you're trying to do with the setup is get that front end low. See all the tape on the grill makes a lot of downforce.
See where the 29.8 puts him currently 5th on the grid, and lap 2 looking better.
I'll tell you what, this car was solid in practice yesterday. It was pretty fast throughout the day. And
all the Braun cars were fast in practice yesterday. So,
they were.
Yeah, I expect him to pick up a little bit here. You see he's tracking a little faster.
Well, he's had 3 prior starts here at Nashville. His best finish was 7th back in April of '06 in lap number 2. Well, it comes in at 29.6, so 0.2 of a second better, and that keeps him in the number 5 spot. Of course, Bernie lives in the area here in the Nashville area, and a little bit earlier this week, he stopped by Vanderbilt University Motorsports with the Formula SAE team. That's in partnership with Braun Racing and Dollar General. Club mostly made up of engineering students. The club races their own autocross style racer, and there you see it right there. And as he pulls it on in, that looked like it might be a little fun to get behind the wheel of that thing. So a good run so far for Bernie in front of the hometown fans as he's in the number 5 spot of the 9 that have taken times. We get ready now for Eric McClure.
The goal is to keep that car right dead on the bottom of the racetrack here at Nashville. And anybody that seems like they drifts up in the center of the corner, drifts up on the exit, you can just see their lap time just goes right away. So, I mean, they've got to keep it down.
Well, Eric struggled in practice yesterday. He was 44th at 30.7. And he's coming up to conclude lap number 1 at 30.09. So that's the fastest he's run all weekend, but it's got to go quicker.
Well, that makes you feel a little bit better when you go out and you get done with the qualifying. You say, well, look, we ran faster we ever run, but it's still not good enough.
He's going to run faster second lap, it looks like, if he can get through 3 and 4. He is up off the bottom of the racetrack a little bit, though.
Yeah, we know at this particular track, you just don't want to be off the bottom. It's a track doesn't have a lot of banking. It's a fairly flat racetrack in comparison to some of the speedways that these guys run on, like Charlotte, Michigan, California, stuff like that. So the fastest way on a racetrack, right on the bottom.
And he ups it just a little, 30.008, as you see there, at 159. So that puts him currently 7th. Let's talk to one of our former winners from me.
Michael Waltrip, he's owner-driver, hasn't been in a car here since 2006. So, Michael, how are these cars compared to the last time he ran here?
Well, they have less power, but it's fun here. When you race at Texas and California, which were my other 2 races this year, you run it wide open a lot. And here it reminds you more of regular racing where you go down in the corner, let off, hit the brakes. So the Best Western Toyota was good yesterday. I want to send a shout out to the folks over in Murfreesboro that were devastated by the weather yesterday. Everybody at MWR wants to try to pitch in and help out, whether maybe we could donate some rooms from Best Western or a couch or something from Aaron's to try to give people a little bit something to smile about. It was really, really tough here yesterday, and I'm hoping everybody's in a better place today.
Nice gesture from Michael Waltrip. He rolls out in just a few cars, Marty.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in, over 100 homes destroyed, and it's just south of the track here in Murfreesboro, and everybody has been concerned, and the news coverage has been unbelievable of the devastation. As right now, Stephen Wallace, who had an excuse, he was originally supposed to go out 4th, but had a mechanical issue that NASCAR allowed him to work on, and now he's out. And first lap right now at 29.7 seconds, looking to improve.
I'll tell you what, he's flirting with the pole right now. Take a look at our tracker. Losing a little bit off at turn 3, picking it back off at turn 4.
Good lap, though. It's going to be close.
Hang on. He dips down onto the apron, and good enough for number 2. 29.5.
Great lap, man.
Good run. We heard he had a...
Good job.
We heard that he had a throttle issue and was excused from qualifying. So evidently a throttle was sticking or bent or something. Dale Ferguson and crew fixed it and got out to qualify.
Well, as he brings it on back towards pit lane, Kelly Byers is with Shannon Spake.
And Kelly Byers just got dropped down to 3rd on the pole on the qualifying effort. Did you guys get everything out of that car in that run?
You know, we didn't. We were a little bit too tight to go quick. Yesterday we worked on race trim the whole entire practice, and then did a qualifying run at the end of it, and we're extremely loose. So we were safe and tightened it up, and we just over tightened it, slowed it down a little bit. But real proud of everyone on the Charter Chevrolet. All the guys have done a great job in preparation of this car. You know, coming to the track and throughout the weekend. So. We've got a great race car. Just looking forward to the race today.
Now, you guys have been talking about a little extra nerves with Kelly getting in his 33 car. He looks pretty calm to me out here.
He does look pretty cool, calm, and collected, but I think inside the butterflies are still churning.
Well, I think he's just got a lot of confidence in his own ability and himself, and now he's got a great opportunity with Kevin's car to go out here and show what he can do.
Taking a look at Michael McDowell right now. He was 20th on the practice charts yesterday, trying to make his 11th nationwide series start. Boy, lap number 1, pretty good, 29.57 seconds.
Yeah, and check this out. He's got a pole run going down the backstretch.
That car's got a good-looking attitude on the racetrack, and man, when you see those big numbers the first lap, from what we've seen.
Okay, right here. He's right here's where he can do it. If he gets a good shot off of turn 4.
Shooting into the green.
Oh, man, this is good. Good lap.
This ought to make Brad Daugherty happy. Take a look as he comes across. Second lap, 29.3 seconds.
31 there, Mr. McDowell.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
He's clear from second, about a 10th and a half.
On the provisional pole, team 4.
Man, I tell you what, he nailed it coming off of turn 4. You saw that tracker climb like that. Haven't seen many cars do that.
Well, he is 24 years old, not the youngest pole winner here, 18-year-old Joey Logano.
Well, we're going to find out here in just a second now if he can stay up there, because we got one of the fastest cars, actually the fastest car in practice yesterday on the racetrack, our point leader, Carl Edwards.
Yeah, Carl's best practice time yesterday, 29.49 seconds. So we've already gone under that with the current pole. So we'll see what Carl can do.
He's going to have to go faster than he's been all weekend to get this pole.
His best Nashville start, believe it or not, in 7 prior races has been third.
You know, Andy, before the broadcast started, you and I were talking about when the good time is to go out, and I said it kind of always seems like 12 cars into it, it's where the track gets good. So Carl...
Oh, you just looked at there and saw Carl was going out 12.
No, I did not. And when I saw McDowell get that pole, the 11th car out, and now Carl's going out 12th, I mean, that's a lot of confidence builder. That track's got some little rubber on it right now. It's still cool out there. All right. And he knows it's fast.
Yeah, he missed it by a 10th on the first lap, and look at lap tracker now going into the green.
Oh, he's got a good lead here now, over a 10th on the backstretch. If he doesn't mess up anything here in 3 and 4, I believe he's got it.
That baby's sailing down the back straightaway right now. Just can't overdrive that corner, like you said.
You see Dan Stillman there. He's saying, come on, baby.
Oh, no, he's got it. He's looking really good right now.
Dan can't see what we see.
And as he comes across, 29.155, and that by, a 10th and a half. So he has got himself a very good race car for our points leader and current pole sitter, but still a lot of cars still to come, including second in the points, Kyle Busch. And there's Carl's record on the concrete, 25 races, 5 wins, and 3 of them right here at Nashville Superspeedway. ABC is your NBA destination tomorrow. Action begins at 1 Eastern. Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks face Chris Paul and the Hornets. Then at 3:30 Eastern, the 2 favorite teams in the Eastern Conference battle, Paul Pierce and the Celtics face LeBron James and the Cavs. It's the NBA on ABC Sunday. Coverage begins 12:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Back here at Nashville Superspeedway as we continue to qualify for today's race, which you'll see on ESPN at 3 Eastern time. As we'll start with NASCAR Countdown. Right now you're looking at Ken Butler as you've already got lap 1 in the books at 30.14 seconds, and not going to be a pole run as it is tracking on the wrong side.
Yeah, Ken Butler, he broke 30 seconds in practice yesterday. A little bit slower on that first lap.
Yeah, his best practice lap was 29.97.
He actually slows down from his practice speed. He runs a 29.99, but got to be disappointed with that, with the track having the grip that it has today.
Yeah, I heard the car actually really loose. And we talked earlier about you can actually hear these cars squealing the tires in the corner. I heard this car doing the same thing, so the grip wasn't for him there. We know the track's got it, though.
Well, let's check in once again with Shannon.
Stephen Wallace is currently 4th on the board, but you guys have had some mechanical issues over the past 24 hours. Can you tell us what's going on with that 66 car?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of issues. You know, we're supposed to go out 4th, but we had some issues there with the throttle hanging up there in the airbox. So we got that fixed, but went out and qualified. Our the US for those Chevrolet is a lot better than where we qualified. It's, you know, really felt like I underdrove the car a little bit, but I think it'll be a good starting spot. But our car's a lot better than where we qualified, so we're looking forward to the race.
You concerned at all about those issues for the race?
No, not at all. We got it all fixed. I got a good team, good sponsors, and everything's going to be good, and hopefully get a good car today. You know, they really feel like our car's pretty good, so we'll give her hell.
All right, Stephen Wallace right now is 13th in the point standings in the Nationwide Series. Marty?
Thank you, Shannon. You're looking at the king of concrete in the Nationwide Series. No one has had more starts on this surface than Jason Keller. If he qualifies today, which he should, 72nd time he'll be racing on the concrete. He's had 4 poles in that stretch and 26 top 10 finishes. First lap was at 29.95, puts him currently in 9th.
Hey, another solid driver. This guy's been in the Nationwide Series for a long, long time. Andy, I think it was a couple races ago, this car was one of the fastest cars all day long at, I believe it was Las Vegas. Super strong throughout the day, super strong in California, the way the car looked. He likes these style racetracks.
Yeah, and anytime you've got Jason Keller in your race car, you're going to have some good runs. He's going to get the car right. He knows how to get what he wants in a race car, and he just doesn't accept anything less than that.
Well, he runs a 29.6 on lap number 2, but bumps him up 1 more spot into the provisional 8th position right now. And so Jason solidly in for another start on concrete. Let's check in with Jamie Little. I think you've caught up with Mike Bliss.
Yes, Mike Bliss, pretty quick in practice, second yesterday. So what exactly does that mean for this potential pole here?
Well, I mean, it seems like everybody's going a little quicker. We're pretty good in race trim and a little bit too loose in qualifying trim, but it's just the way it is. If I don't overdrive one, I think we'll be all right, but I've been overdriving it and making myself too loose, so I just got to calm myself down. But all in all, our Mikusuki Chevrolet was real good off the truck.
All right, Marty, it's good to see a smile on Mike Bliss's face. They finished 7th last week, getting some momentum behind him.
And he's about, maybe 6 or 7 cars away from his qualifying effort as we look now at Brad Keselowski, who was 10th on the practice charts yesterday and right now in the red.
You don't expect to see this car this far off of the pole on this, but it is his first lap. He may get a lot better lap the second lap.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I figured his first lap would be much better than this. You see the tracker is, tracking him 14th at the moment, and that's where he clocks in at 30.08. He's going to have to pick it up a lot on that second lap if he expects to get this pole.
It'll be better, but it's not going to be what he wants. That's kind of been one of the things about this car, and Brad in particular, is sometimes they're not great qualifying, but then they can start back there and march to the front. Last week, he started in the rear after crashing his car in qualifying and drove that thing right up to the front there and got a top 5 finish.
Boy, that car was handling perfect last week. Like you said, what was it, like 30th or something like that? Drove that thing right up to the front. That was an amazing run.
He picked up 0.3 of a second on lap number 2 and moves up to the number 10 spot at 29.73. Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, down here with Carl Edwards, who's your provisional pole sitter. We spoke before the show started, and you said your car was pretty close to perfection. What do you think after those laps?
That's a pretty good lap, but the track's pretty fast right now, so I'm not gonna get too excited about staying up there on the pole, but I think it will be a top 3 starting spot. I was talking to McDowell there, and we were just saying how fast these cars seem to go around the corner, and and how perfect they have to be. So that'd be great to put this Save-A-Lot Fusion up front, because I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit tough to pass here. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it for the moment.
And we'll have you show Carl Edwards show what a fan just gave him before qualifying started. They gave him a pick for a guitar, and as we all know, the Gibson guitar is the trophy here at Nashville. Carl Edwards already has 3 of those trophies. Marty?
Yeah, it's going to have to get a new closet pretty soon to store them all if he wins anymore. Take a look at Michael Waltrip as he's on his first lap. His last win in the Nationwide Series was right at this very track back in '04.
This car looks really good. I like the attitude. He's running the bottom of the racetrack. Got a pretty good first lap, 29.60.
Puts him 6th. Now he practiced 4th quickest yesterday at 29.61.
That's basically a teammate car of Michael McDowell, and McDowell ran a 57 his first lap, and Waltrip a 60. So the cars come out of the same shop. You would think they'd handle very close to the same.
Coming out of 4, Tracker heading south again, but Michael will be solidly in the field. Second lap comes across at 29.58, so a little bit of improvement by 0.02 of a second. He's on the outside of row number 3 as of right now. So a total of 16 cars have taken their qualifying efforts. We're going to take a quick break here. Carl Edwards being interviewed by another member of the media. He's on pole right now. Will he stay there? Ah, bunnies and chicks. Can you tell it's Easter time? Here at the Nashville Superspeedway, they're just outside the turn there, and cars go ripping by. That'll might scare the feathers and the fur off of them. Whoops, just fell out of the basket. Back here at the track as qualifying continues, as we mentioned, 16 total cars have taken efforts right now. David Reagan on the track, and Reagan trying to make his 83rd start without a win. Are you guys surprised he has yet to pick up that first win?
I am very surprised, and I expect it to come soon. And these kind of races, what we call standalone races, are big opportunities for guys like David Reagan, even though he is a Cups regular. He's loose, though, man. I'm telling you, this car is really loose.
Yeah, we heard that one. I saw the rear end kick out in that car right there. You talk about not winning yet. One thing I am really surprised is how good a rookie like this runs so well in the Cup Series, guys. I remember last year, top 10 after top 10 after every single week. This guy was laying big numbers down. He continues to do it this year, too. Good little drivers, no doubt about that.
And he comes across for lap number 2 and improves all the way up to the number 5 spot. He picks up almost 0.3 of a second, 29.56. So that puts him 5th currently.
That's not too bad with those rear tires squealing in turn 1.
You got that right. I mean, these impound races are so tough on these guys because they only get to do minor things to tighten these cars up enough to get them qualified. A little track bar in the back, lower it down, put some wedge in, and a little air pressure, and that's about it. Now, the Cup guys, when they run, man, they can make big changes, but these Nationwide Series cars just can't do that.
Well, as he coasts on out, let's check in. Jason Leffler, a first-time winner at this track a few years back, is with Jamie.
Back in 2004, and yesterday not bad. 7th overall in practice. Jason, how was the car?
Car's really solid. A great clips Camry. It's turning good, and it's got a lot of speed, so looking forward to the race. Looking forward to qualifying here up front and getting into this race and having a chance to win.
Marty, you know his trademark is his faux hawk here. His crew chief, Scott Zaffadelli, did not know what that was called. Can you believe that? How can you not know?
Hey, I just glad I have hair. I don't care what it looks like. So, you know, I'm not going to say a word. And to get an idea, there's the view from behind. And how long does it take to style that?
I don't know. It takes a lot less time to style my mop, I can tell you that.
All right, let's take a look at Joey Logano. Of course, he is a former pole sitter here. He was the youngest at the age of 18. Good for 3rd position on lap number 1 at 29.4. Who's the oldest pole sitter? Oh, he's going to love me saying this. Our buddy, Randy LaJoie. He won the pole here at age 41, and he's the only guy over age 32 to ever win the pole. Who's your buddy? Who's your pal, Randy?
Check it out here. He's close. Not going to get it, but he's real close to Carl's time. He's 2nd.
So he does step it up to the number 2 spot.
Good job, baby. You're at
29.27 seconds at 163 and change. So right now it is Edwards and Logano, your front row here at Nashville Superspeedway. But again, lurking in the wings is the 18 of Kyle Busch. Look at that.
Dodged one bullet.
Well, he's never sat on pole here. I'm sure he wants it.
Yeah, he doesn't put that helmet on. He doesn't want to be first.
So a good run for Joey as we get ready now for the 11 car as Scott Lagasse Jr., another one of our Bestest Rookie of the Year contenders, out on the track.
What's he got on the hood of that car? What's that say? Jason Aldean?
It's going too fast for me to read.
Oh, yeah,
wow.
Got him loose, yeah.
Oh.
Here in Nashville, a lot of these guys have got these country and western singers on their cars.
Yep, there you get a good look at it.
Scott basically just had to save the car down there in that first lap. He's going to have to regroup and try to get a better 2nd lap. Needs a good run off of 4.
And it really looks like these tires really need a 2nd lap to get some heat in them. Probably a pretty hard tire they're racing on this particular weekend. That's always indicative of that 2nd lap picking up that much.
Yeah, he's still not where he wants to be at all. I mean, he probably felt that the first lap and just didn't want to run it down in there and wreck the car.
Well, he practiced 15th quickest. As you can see, he's 19th right now and bottoming out on the lap tracker here on lap number 2.
You know, when you go out, you got a car that's that loose, guys. You just got to say, hey, look, I got to bring this baby home. I can't wreck it. I got to race it. So I'm sure that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, he actually slowed down.
No, he actually picked up almost a 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
8/10 of a second, but it still didn't move him off the bottom.
No.
He's still down there in 19th spot.
19th position, and you're right. I transposed the figures. 30.18 is his time. Shannon's caught up with Joey Logano. Let's check in with her.
Well, it was a great run for Joey Logano in the 20 car. How much does coming over to the Nationwide Series and a run like that help your confidence in both series?
Oh, it's a ton, you know, to come over here and run up good with the GameStop Toyota, and the whole 20 team does great over here, you know, with Dave Rogers leading us, and all the guys, they work hard, and it's fun to come over here. And this weekend, it's almost like an off weekend. It feels like you're not running back and forth and doing all this stuff, so it's pretty cool to, you know, go one-nighter, and you come and, you know, have a good run tonight and have a lot of fun.
Well, this team is very happy with this 20 car and a great run for them in qualifying. Marty?
And right now, as we go back out of trackside, we're looking at Brian Scott, another one of the Braun Racing entries. Practice yesterday, 22nd quickest at 29.9.
It's his first time in one of these cars.
He's one of our 4 that are trying to make their first nationwide series start. Comes across for lap number 1 at 29.92, so a good first lap for him.
You can hear those tires. Hear them squeal.
Oh, that car is loose right there. Brian's got a lot of experience in the truck series, but just like you said, Andy, hardly nothing in nationwide cars, and they do drive a lot different.
Yeah, he's got 36 Camping World Truck Series starts, 2 top 5s and 9 top 10s in that series. Coming out of 4, looking for an improvement. And as he comes across, 29.97, so it'll keep him currently 14.
Still sliding the rear wheels even after he cools down. I'll tell you, that car's loose.
He's like, let's get this baby off the racetrack, man. This thing's about to kill me.
So the Dollar General car solidly in the field right now. And next up, it will be the man we talked to just a few moments ago from Phoenix Racing, Mike Bliss.
This is going to be a pole threat right here. Mike Bliss was second quick to Carl Edwards in practice yesterday afternoon.
Now, and he was saying he kept over driving it yesterday. If we have somebody new to the broadcast, what's he talking about?
Well, they're just driving the car way deep in the corner instead of rolling. A lot of times you get out of, oh, got big time loose there, didn't it? That's going to hurt us up the speed lap.
That's got to hurt your confidence a little bit, too. When that car steps out like that, you got to wonder, okay, is it going to stick the next time I come through here?
And, you know, yeah, you're exactly right. You will think that. If it didn't stick that time, why is it going to stick the next time?
Well, Mike has won here in the Camping World Truck Series. His best finish in the Nationwide Series, he's been 4th twice. And first lap tracker going south.
Okay, he's going to have to regroup again right here. Coming off forward, get a good run, and try to get a good second lap.
You know, he's a good driver. He knows the situation he's in right now, and he knows he's got 1 bullet left. He's got to get it right this time.
Currently 19th. That's not where we expected him to be at 30.09.
Yeah, that car's real loose, and that's probably going to pay off for him in the race, but he still needs to get a good lap here and try to get a good starting spot. It's going to be a lot better if he keep the rear tires underneath it here.
That looked pretty good. That corner looked pretty good. The lap tracker, it's not doing much right there, so he's tracking 5th right now.
Well, that's a lot better than where he was. He's 19th on the first lap, jumps it up to 6th spot.
So that second lap, a 29.5. He picks up a full half a second on that second lap. So a good run for Mike Bliss. Puts him on the outside of row number 3 right now. As we're going to step aside for a quick break, and still to come, second in the points, Kyle Busch.
Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee, folks. The generator you see right behind the 29 car, what we use that for is for the heating the oil temperature, because we've got a probe in the oil temperature box itself as well as the transmission in the rear end. But what we do, we preset it to 260 degrees, because on a cold day when you go out on the racetrack, you don't have any oil temperature, you're going to run about 2 or 3 tenths slower. So heating the oil in the transmission, rear end, and the oil temp on the oil tank, it's very important to get a good qualifying speed here in Nashville.
Thank you, Tim. And boy, I hope if you were with us yesterday, you enjoyed the fact that we did practice just a little bit different down in the Craftsman Tech Garage. We had a blast with it, and we'll keep fine-tuning it, tweaking it, but it was a lot of fun.
It's all about the details, getting that car to qualify fast, and you can't overlook any of them. Old Brewer, he was good like that. He took care of the details.
He did a lot of detail work, and I think you did the same thing down there, you know. You guys... you worked the rules pretty hard too, didn't you guys?
You got to work right up against them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give nothing up. There's no doubt about that.
Second lap much better for Danny O'Quinn as he moves into the 15th spot. 29.81 seconds at 160.9 miles an hour.
Danny O'Quinn's done a great job in this car. You know, it seems like the performance of this 01 has picked up a lot since Danny's been driving it, so he's done himself proud.
Well, keep an eye on Carl Edwards. He might be biting his lip for a few more moments. Take a look at Kyle in his last 19 nationwide starts. 8 wins, 50%, 3 second place. Only 2 times has he been 10th or worse. There's a lot of people that don't have that in a career. He's got 19 races.
Now, this kid's been amazing. There's no doubt about that. He's won a lot of races in this car, Cup Series, everything. But I'll tell you one thing he needs to do right now is watch that turn 4. It's been his nemesis. He almost spun this car out yesterday in practice, and he did spin it out the last race here, running second. And he's talking about how the track has been ground and has really been driving him personally crazy. So I know that's on his mind.
And it has not been a great track for him come finish time. He has 1 top 10 in 6 prior starts, and that's it. He's led laps, just like last year, led 125. But
I still say he's a favorite.
As he comes across, 29.5 on lap number 1 puts him 7th.
Yeah, but look at that green there in turn 1.
You talk about overdriving. That's indication sometimes overdriving. Driving in the corner too deep, Marty. So deep into 1 or turn 3, you can't get the car turned and pulled down. And a lot of drivers do that.
It doesn't look like he's going to get the pole. Here he comes across the stripe. Kyle, he's going to improve, but it'll be only to the number 4 spot. 29.4 seconds. That's about 0.3 of a second slower than Carl Edwards' current pole qualifying time.
He's probably thinking.
Cars are real nice. Good job, guys. Thanks for the comfort.
Yeah, that car did look comfortable. It didn't look like it was twitchy like we kind of expected off turn 4. And some of these cars have been real loose.
And we have to point out, again, this is an impound race, so he's thinking long-term there with that comment, isn't he?
He definitely is thinking long-term. He doesn't want to wreck this car, especially doesn't want to have an off weekend where the rest of the guys are down in the Bahamas vacationing, and him and Carl Edwards are up here working, and he doesn't want to have a bad day and wreck the car. But that was a good run, and I'm sure turn 4 was on his mind because it has been driving him a little bit nuts.
So as Kyle brings it on in, it'll bring Morgan Shepherd to the line, looking to make his 246th career start in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Morgan's been doing this a long time, and he's still doing a good job at it.
He's raced 5 times prior here at Nashville. You know, one of the interesting parts of the stories, and I know you guys have talked about it from the beginning of the season, the help that Morgan is getting. He doesn't have a high-dollar sponsor, but that he's getting from other racers. For example, I know for a fact that Tony Stewart is paying his tire bill, which is about $250,000 to go for the whole season.
Tony Stewart's been buying him some race engines also, and Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Kevin Harvick's actually helped him with some cars
Kevin's
also.
helping for sure. And that just shows you how much respect that Morgan has gained over the years. And I think it's really neat that Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick have recognized that. And Morgan just trying, it's all Morgan knows how to do is race. And he does such a good job, even, you know, he's 67 years old, 68 years old, and still just doing a great job out there.
You see lap 1 at 30.6. Can he improve? And a 30.2. That'll keep him in the 24th position currently in the field.
Marty, I keep remembering the race that Morgan had at Las Vegas this year. That guy just flat flew around that racetrack, and it really surprised me. He did it lap after lap, so he can still get the job done behind the car. Just got to get a little better equipment underneath them.
So as you see Kyle debriefing inside the cockpit of his car, let's check in with Jamie.
And John West Townley, one of the many rookies making their way around Nashville. How important is it to have somebody like your crew chief, Brad Parrott, who's taken so many rookies to victory lane? How important is he for you here?
Oh, it's very important. When Brad came on board, the difference was almost instantaneous. He really brought us up, and just instantly he showed us these things that he could do to make things better, and even on my side of the driving, he gave me some tapes and stuff, and automatically there were just a lot of stuff that he did that nobody had ever done for me. And I mean, he's very knowledgeable. There's a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom there, and we're really glad to have him on board.
Well, Marty, it's certainly a team effort, especially for these rookie drivers here in Nashville.
And this will be fun to watch Brad sort of take John West under his wing and see how much improvement he can bring to that team. As we get a look now at Brandon Witt, the 26-year-old. He's already turned 1 lap at 30.49 seconds. This will be his first start here at Nashville, as he's trying to put it in the field a little bit higher than his current spot of 25th.
Hey, another car, he just still looks real loose out there compared to a lot of the guys. A lot of loose cars. He's one of them.
Well, he's going to stay in that 25th spot as he does not improve. 30.5 on the second lap. Don't forget that we're going to have the race a little bit later this afternoon over on ESPN, presented by Shell, from 3 o'clock Eastern, right here at the Nashville Superspeedway. You're looking at Justin Allgaier. Yesterday, we sort of shadowed their entire team during practice and documented the number of changes that they made. And he is going to be our in-race reporter later today. In fact, he talked about it on NASCAR Now earlier this week.
Well, I've gotten to watch Carl Edwards do it quite a few times, and so I'm trying to take a few notes from what he's done. But it's a really cool honor. I've wanted to do it for a long time. I think anytime you watch the broadcast back at the end of the weekend, it's always a cool thing to be the driver that was the in-race reporter. So hopefully we can we can have a long race. We can finish the whole race, and it'd be even better the in-race reporter getting in victory lane. I think that'd be really cool. So it's a great honor. I'm glad to be doing it, and hopefully we can do a good job of it.
I'm sure he will, as he's currently 15th right now. I think he wants to be a little bit quicker, although he was 17th quickest in practice yesterday.
Track and 10 so far. I was down there in the garage with these guys yesterday. I'm telling you, I've never seen a team make more changes to a car in a 2-hour practice session.
Hey,
they worked extremely hard at it.
You told us they had a list of stuff they were going to start with, and then he threw the list right out.
It was a little list. They were going to try to do some things to make it better, and man, that list grew to about 3 pages. Moves up to 9th.
Yeah, second lap, 29.56 seconds. Picked up a little over a 1/10 of a second on that second lap. Now, if you want to submit a question to Justin that may be answered during today's race, go to ESPN.com. Keyword is Ask the Driver. Tune in today at 3 Eastern on ESPN to see if it's your question that we ask Justin.
Car had a lot of problem yesterday rolling over too much. The air dam way off the ground, but it looked like in qualifying it was down on the ground, so they might have done some work last night in that car, dreamed something up, but whatever they did looked like it worked.
Yeah, I was talking to Chad Walter, the crew chief. He said Justin really likes the car free, and that they kept working and working in that direction yesterday and kept freeing the car up. Looks like they've got it a lot better.
Taking a look now at Jason Leffler, who picked up his first ever Nationwide Series win right here back in June of '04.
Jason's already got a nationwide victory, but he is targeting this race. He knows he's got a good car for today. He knows this is an opportunity race for a lot of guys because there's a limited amount of Cup fellows here. And he had a fast car yesterday. He likes the way it feels.
He was 7th quickest in practice yesterday at 29.65. Now his first lap, well below that, 30.07.
Yeah, his car's real loose too. You can hear the tires squealing, see the back end stepping out. It's just so hard to make a good lap when you can't turn the steering wheel. You're basically chasing the rear tires.
And you hear a lot of drivers say, hey, I was real loose qualifying, but I'm going to be good in the race. Because when you unblock this thing, take the tape off the front and get it in race mode, a lot of the times the cars get really good and the drivers like that.
It's hard to believe. People don't realize just how much that tape does. It puts so much more downforce on the front of the car that it really changes the balance.
Well, he steps it up to the 17th spot with a 29.75 second a lap time, and that's about 3/10 quicker on lap number 2. So that's where Jason will be, at least for the moment. We still have several cars to go, as we've had 27 take official times. Of course, David Green missed his effort, and still to come, a lot more from Nashville. Don't forget, ABC is your destination tomorrow. The action begins at 1 Eastern. Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavs face Chris Paul and the Hornets. Then at 3:30 Eastern, 2 favorites, Eastern Conference battle. The Celtics and the Cavs. It's NBA on ABC Sunday. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. For more, just log on to ESPN.com. Back here at the Nashville Superspeedway, qualifying continues. You're looking at Kenny Hendrick as he is on the track now. Lap number 1 was at 31.19 seconds, and that is slower than he practiced yesterday.
Yeah, you see those sparks flying out from under the car getting in the corner. When they put the tape on the grills, it puts so much more downforce. Just like we said, if you don't make an adjustment or make plans for that, you see how it makes the car travel a lot more. You see a lot of sparks. That's hurting his lap a lot.
Brings it out of 4, and you can see lap tracker. He ducks it down, but I don't know if that's going to help, and only slightly. 30.42. That still leaves him 27th out of 28 cars that have taken time. So let's talk to last year's winner of this race. Jamie Little has him.
And Scott Wimmer won the only race for the 2019 with Richard Childress Racing last year. Now you're in a new car, different team. How much of a challenge is it for you to work with these guys to try to get that same kind of car to win here?
Well, it's a pretty big challenge. This is a pretty small team from what I came from last year, but everybody at Key Motorsports has been working real hard. We're struggling a little bit in practice, but hopefully we'll get it fixed here for qualifying. The main thing we need to go out and do is just qualify. I think once we do that, we'll be fine.
You're looking to get up in that top 30 owner points, and right now the 29 is on the track. Marty?
And it's Stephen Light behind the wheel, the 22-year-old back behind the wheel of the Richard Childress entry, and he almost was not behind the wheel. It was almost into the wall.
That's big time, Luce, and that is a big time confidence killer right there. To try to pick that second lap up, it's going to be hard, Andy.
Yeah, Dan Deeringhoff heard that too. He's not too confident this is going to be a good lap.
We'll still have one more. Comes across the stripe, and you'll see how much that actually cost him. 30.29 leaves him 27th. Here's where he got into trouble last lap.
He basically just had to save that car from crashing the first lap.
Yeah, you just cannot on your second lap just dive bomb it down to the turn one, which was the scene of maybe the last disaster. I think it's going to fix itself, you know.
He's tracking 12th, 13th right here, so it's a lot better second lap. Going to get a decent starting spot.
Billy, you're really loose.
We sort of gathered that.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
All right, well, Steven brings it across. He is 15th right now, 29.67 seconds. So he picks up 0.6 of a second. That's how much that little, not little bobble, that big bobble.
Yeah, let's
cost
see how
him.
little it was right here. You see here, man, he has got the wheels cranked to the right, and much more than that, it's going to go around.
Yeah, he did a great job holding on to that thing. You could see it starting to get into trouble already. He could not get the left front tire down on the bottom of the track, and he knew right then, hey, abort, and hold on.
Well, here's what the 29 car has done this season, and you can see in 5 races, never outside the top 10, but still looking for the first victory. So maybe Stephen Light can do that later today over on ESPN. Out on the track, taking a look at Casey Atwood as he's already on his first lap.
Okay, this is the first car of the go or go home guys that have to make it on time. Everybody else before this car, before Atwood, are locked into the field regardless of what they run in qualifying.
And this is the first week they go on the 2009 points. Previously, everybody was locked in. The top 30 in points from last year were guaranteed a starting spot. But now this week, it's going off this year's current points. So everybody in the top 30 is feeling pretty good right now.
Well, Casey, if you remember, was the Nationwide Series youngest pole winner ever. It's 17 years, 7 months, 7 days back in 1998 when this race was run at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And as he comes across, Casey, second lap 29.8, so it only picks up about 1/10 of a second, leaves him currently 20th, but as Andy pointed out, he is the first of the go or go homers, so he'll have to sort of sit tight and see how it happens with Michael McDowell and several others still to come at Nashville Superspeedway.
Back to Nashville, folks. Here in Nashville, all qualifying events are impound races, meaning when you qualify your procedures, you're going to have to race it. So what NASCAR allows you to do is remove some of the tape on the nose to get adequate airflow for the radiator. Another thing we're going to do, for qualifying, we want real hot oil. So we're going to flip this valve, and we're going to bypass the valve and put all the hot oil directly to the engine. But for the race, we've got to have that oil cooled. We're going to open the valve up just a little bit, let that oil get cooled in the cooler. Another thing we're going to do, we're going to adjust the air pressure in the tires. Today, as cool as it is, we're going to put a little extra air in the tires to build heat, to get some grip. We're going to change that. Another thing that NASCAR allow you to do, we've got adjustable shock absorbers. When we build them compression adjustable, we can adjust them just a little bit to make some of that downforce come back when we took some of the tape off the nose. Another thing NASCAR will allow you to do, you can adjust the rear wedge bolts. One round in, but you have to go to the other side and take one round out to make sure the quarter panel height stays the same. Another thing they'll allow you to do is adjust the track bar, meaning lower it to tighten the car up, raise it up to free the car up, whichever way the crew chief decides to go. But those are some of the things that we can do after qualifying and the cars are impounded in the garage area.
All right, thanks for all the info, Tim. There is Mark Green, and a bit of a problem. We don't know because they've lost radio contact with Mark. What happened? He started to pull out of pit lane.
Well, sometimes these guys really don't hook all the radio stuff up for qualifying. They're just going to run a couple of laps, and maybe he just didn't hook his radio up, but don't know what happened. It stalled coming off of the pit road.
This is not a very good birthday present. He turned 50 last Wednesday. Let's check in with Shannon while we've got a chance.
Marty, that first lap was a little bit treacherous for the 29 Stephen Light. Can you tell us what happened?
I don't know. I felt like I was on a dirt track out there. We did that yesterday in our qualifying trim. We were loose in, and today I figured, you know, everybody's going faster. Track's a lot colder to have a lot more grip in it, and I drove in a little harder than I did yesterday. And just when I turn the wheel in, the back end doesn't stick and steps out. So, but that's how our qualifying trim was yesterday. So I was expecting it. I know our race trim's really good. I'm excited about that. And tell you what, the weather has just been unpredictable here lately, and all those tornadoes yesterday. It's a sad deal for all those families that lost their homes and stuff. Our hearts go out to them and our race team, and we'll try to put this holiday in Chevrolet and Victory Lane today. I think our race trim's pretty good.
Absolutely, everyone's thinking about the folks in this area. You said you had 2 hands on your right leg. That's a little bit treacherous, but your crew chief came over and said you think you're going to be good for the race. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think I overdrive it. I think I one hand on my right leg, but she's definitely loose for a while. You know, it seems like these cars, to be fast and qualifying, you always have to be a little snug. You're better off to be a little tight than you are loose. And anytime you're loose, you just lose your momentum. But I know our race trim's really good. I know we weren't very high on the sheet yesterday, but I feel like it was very comfortable to drive. So I'm looking forward to the race.
And when we talk about these races being an opportunity, Stephen Light was one of the drivers who capitalized on this opportunity. It was in Kentucky in 2007. He won that race. Marty?
Yeah, and only 5 races last year. And boy, there's a guy that's got a bunch of talent. You keep hoping that he gets a lot more rides in this series. Let's talk a little bit what's going to happen later today over on ESPN, because at 3 o'clock Eastern, well, we've had 12 different winners in 15 races here at the Nashville Superspeedway and 7 first-time career winners in the series here. So who's going to win it today? Find out. The Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Shell, 3 Eastern on ESPN. We found out what happened to Mark Green, and the birthday present's gone from bad to worse. No clutch. And so there is the 0, and that's one of the go-or-go-homers. Unfortunately, they'll be packing up and heading home.
Yeah, I mean, that's unreal. Do all that practicing yesterday and lose a clutch going out to qualify. It's just, I really don't understand how something like that could happen that quick.
Okay, now this car right here, you see no sponsor on the quarter panels. Don't let that fool you. This car's going to run fast right here. He has been qualifying really good with this car.
This is probably one of the fellows, we talk about go-or-go homers, and what he wants to do with this car, he can actually put a full-blown qualifying setup in this thing because he just wants to get in the race. Once he's in the race, he's made a little money. He knows he's probably not going to go for a win with it, but they can slide lead forward, they can put bigger springs in it, they can really get it so the car will qualify good. Just won't race too good that way.
And the these guys are referring to is 41-year-old Terry Cook. As Terry, 6th in the NASCAR Camping World points right now, looking to put this car in the show for today's race.
Yeah, Terry knows how to get it done now. He's fast in those Truck Series trucks, and so he can qualify good. And he's going to make a little money here with this team if he can get it in the field.
Okay, now we're tracking him against Carl Edwards. He's 12th so far here down the backstretch. Qualified in the top 10 last week at Texas. 7th, I believe it was.
Coming through 4, heading for the stripe for lap number 1. And for Terry, it was 29.66 seconds. That's good enough for 15th. Puts him well ahead of Casey Atwood.
You can see this car is tracking 7th right now. I mean, just like you predicted, Andy. I mean, he's got a qualifying setup in this car, and it's showing right now.
He's flirting with the top 10.
As he comes across the stripe, Terry Cook moves to the 11th position, 29.58 seconds. Good for the 11th spot right now. Let's check in with Jamie Little down in pit lane.
Well, we're watching NASCAR officials go through the regular protocol to make sure everybody, well, that they're legal. So look right here. We have these little cans with the numbers. Pole sitter right now, Carl Edwards, 60. These are fuel samples. NASCAR will take them back and run them through a test process. Now, this is the list right here he has highlighted. The top 5 drivers, always they take, and then every go or go home driver they test. So all these cars coming in now are getting those fuel samples. So for more on this, let's go over to the Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, Jamie. What they're actually doing, they're checking the specific gravity of the fuel, meaning you can put a accelerator in the fuel to make it more combustible. But Sunoco, they take the fuel samples back to their laboratory and they check them. And you can put propylene oxide or some accelerant in it that Andy Petrie and some of those guys used to use a few years ago, and would make the engine perform about 300 RPMs more. And it's one of those additives that's not allowed by NASCAR. So to make the playing field level for everyone, they take fuel samples from all the cars, take them back, analyze them, and give NASCAR the report. And if you've got a fuel additive in there, look for a suspension or a fine.
And as you take a look at Jeremy Clements, we should probably point out that's what happened to Benny Gordon's team. They had a fuel problem back at Bristol. They're appealing that penalty, and Benny is still yet to qualify. So that is an ongoing thing. Here's Clements, and you can see his first lap at 30.25.
It's another guy that has not gotten a lot of opportunities. Jeremy Clements got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. Yeah, I see Rusty showing me the sparks coming out from underneath this car, but that's not what you want to do in qualifying.
Yeah, his complaint right there, hitting the racetrack, and if you drive down the corner and think bottoms out, that means the tires are just not having any grip. The car's staying off the tires, and you just can't get as much pressure in the front, and that's going to cause the car to handle bad. And that'll drive a driver nuts because he's telling himself, it didn't do it yesterday. Why did it do it today? It's because of that tape.
Well, you can see his 29.96 moves him to 24th. He is third of the 3 go-or-go-homers that have taken times.
What was that stuff Brewer was talking about putting in the fuel?
Yeah, I
can't even spell that word. I don't even
Did you put that propylene oxide in your fuel when you were driving?
What is that? You and Brewer know what it is.
I don't know what it is. I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I knew we were going to get back on that.
I got a feel it makes a little more horsepower if you put that in there.
I'll do a little research on that.
All right, let's get on to the 81 right now of Jeff Green. Now, yesterday we told you, if you were with us, that Jeff would be able to qualify as the most current past champion. But because they missed the entry deadline, DJ Kennington was actually on the entry blank, and they shifted to Jeff, and they did not make that deadline, so he has to make it on time.
Yeah, they have rules about that. You can take advantage of that spot if you submit the entry blank in time, but it's late. You got to get out there and make it happen on the track.
Sounds like a technicality to me.
Well,
since he's 30th right now, it's probably making him nervous.
Yeah, and he's 4th of the 4 go-or-go-homers, so he's going to have to step it up here.
How'd you like to miss a race because you didn't fill out the paperwork right?
Well, I think he's going to get it done right here. He's got a better lap going the second lap. I think he'll get in with this.
Heading for the stripe, 46-year-old Jeff Green. How much does he improve? Well, to a 30.07, but that is still 4th on the go-or-go-home list.
Yeah, that's not as good as he wants to be.
You're going to be holding your breath for a while.
I wouldn't go back to the garage area feeling cocky at all, or confident, that's for sure.
Only one that can do that right now is Carl Edwards.
Well, he put it on him. There's no doubt about that. A 29.15 for Carl Edwards. He was fast yesterday in practice, but you know what? We expect that.
And there's young 26-year-old Tim Andrews from Mooresville, North Carolina. Go back to 1992, and let's talk a little bit about Dad, Paul, because Paul was heavily responsible for one Alan Kowicki winning a championship. There is the trophy.
Tell you, Paul is really good. Paul was my crew chief when I drove the American Speed Association. Him and I were together from 1972 up to like 86. A really good crew chief, and his son's been doing a good job also.
It's got to give Tim a lot of confidence having his dad on the pit box.
Well, considering Paul had 30 poles and 12 Cup victories in the championship, that's pretty good. Remember, he is also one of the go-or-go-homers, and a 30.4 on lap number 1. He's going to have to step it up here.
And another real loose car. You could actually hear the rear tires just squalling through the corner like the rest of them.
Young Tim has 5 ARCA starts. He has 1 pole in that series. That was back in June of '07 at Pocono.
So he gets a good run off turn 4, moves up a few spots, so this is probably going to help him a lot.
Well, and he does. He moves into the 24th spot with a 29.95 and moves ahead of Jeremy Clements. In fact, moves into the 3rd spot on the go or go home list. So a little bit of breathing room for young Tim Andrews. Stay with us, though. Qualifying is not yet over here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Back here at the Nashville Superspeedway as we are into the go or go home section of qualifying, and you're looking at the 90 of Johnny Chapman. He was 25th on the practice charts yesterday, guys. And as you take a look at the lap tracker, we can tell you the 5-minute clock did expire on Mark Green. We sort of figured it would with a clutch problem, that they would not be able to get that car out. So they are definitely officially not going to race later this afternoon.
See our tracker here. This is tracking to the 21st spot, which is Casey Atwood, and that's the spot next to lock in. If you can beat that time, you lock yourself in. If not, then Casey Atwood will get locked in after this lap.
Right. So far, we can tell you that Terry Cook is locked in for the race.
Okay, Johnny's car was really dancing around off of turn 4. These guys are driving these things for everything they're worth because they know they got to make it in on time, and if they don't, it's probably their own fault.
Johnny trying to make it for his 3rd Nashville start, and he runs 29.92 on the 2nd lap. That moves him to 23rd. Not good enough to bump out Atwood, but Atwood now is locked in. So 2.
Atwood's locked in, and that makes Johnny Chapman the guy that we're going to be tracking for the next one.
That's
he
right.
is the next guy to lock in if nobody can beat him.
And while he brings it on into pit lane, let's check in with Jamie.
And Tim Andrews, we were showing actually his father with Alan Kowicki, the winning crew chief. What can you learn from your dad, who's won so much, when you come to a track like Nashville?
I don't know if I can learn enough from him. He's just a wealth of knowledge. It's definitely an asset to have on my side. Really happy to. We work really well together. It's just nice to work with him.
Is he here?
Yeah, he is right now. He's crew chief in this thing, and he's down and watching the monitor right now, nervous as a house cat.
Yes, just as nervous as Tim, his son, trying to get in the field. He's looking pretty good right now, Marty.
He certainly is, Jamie, as it would be a fun thing for father and son to be able to race together later today.
I'll tell you what, Marty, Tim's a good little driver. I mean, if they get in this race, I expect them to have a good run today.
Looking at Scott Wimmer right now, and Scott, again, that's compared to Johnny Chapman right now.
He doesn't get Johnny on the first lap. He's 27th. 29.98.
Ooh, it's oh so close here on lap number 2.
Got a shot at getting it here now. You see, goes green, getting into turn 3.
Back on the throttle. Oh, this is going to be close as he comes out of 4 and heads for the stripe. Scott Wimmer trying to lock himself in at 29.991. And he does not do it, guys.
That doesn't do it. No, that locks in Johnny Chapman in the 90 car.
And it's Mr. Andrews and Mr. Clements ahead of Mr. Wimmer.
Boy, it just goes to show you the difference in equipment. When he drove Richard Childress's cars last year, this guy won. He ran strong, and he'll get this team going again, but may got a ways to go. We know he can get it done, that's for sure.
He's proven that for sure.
Well, we talked to John West Townley a little bit earlier about his crew chief, Brad Parrott, and what he's brought to the team. There is some of Brad's credentials, guys.
That's a lot of pressure on the driver. Said, okay, here's what I've done. Now, you got to keep that up for me.
Well, John West was 18th in practice, 29.84.
Ooh, that car's not handling, though. I mean, that thing is way up off the bottom lane of the racetrack, and I noticed that on the warm-up lap, coming off of turn 4. Between 3 and 4, he was way up also, so he's got to get this thing down to the bottom of the track. A lot better looking corner there, but still up the track.
Well, as he comes by, we'll get lap number 1, and it is a 30.14. That is not good enough to lock him in. The number he's trying to do better than is 29.95.
I'm sure Brad Parrott is up on the truck giving John West Townley his lap times and telling him that it's not quick enough, got to run a second lap, and this is a lot better lap. You see, tracking 14th and definitely going to lock himself in right here.
Yeah, this is a really good lap, and John West Townley.
You're racing, Hot Rod. You're racing. Way to go, bud. 29.677. Great job.
So we have our fourth driver locked in, and it is John West Townley. He moves into the 18th position overall with a very fine second lap.
Yeah, Brad Parrott, he's an intense little son of a gun. There's no doubt about that. He'll get on these guys and holler and scream and get right in their face and say, we got to do this. Listen to me. I've had success with all these other drivers, and he's obviously doing that to Townley.
Yeah, that apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
Oh, man.
You had his dad as a crew chief.
I did. I had Buddy Parrott, and the guy won me a pile of races. I'll never forget, in 1993, we started, and he says, we're going to win 10 races. And I go, what? Are you crazy? And
You didn't win 10, did you? I thought you won like 11 or 12.
No, I won 10. At the very last race, when we got to 10, and his dad was an amazing man. Still is.
And we're looking at Benny Gordon. We talked about it just a few moments ago about their fuel issue back at Bristol. Their qualifying effort was disallowed. They have appealed the penalties imposed by NASCAR, and we'll wait to see what the final disposition on that. So technically, Benny has yet to make a nationwide field. He's trying to make his first here.
Says he was buying Sunoco gas from a vendor. When the gas showed up, he said he thought he was just buying regular Sunoco gas, and it didn't pass for some reason.
Now, that's one of the things, you know, this is a new series for this team. They've been running the Hooters Cup series, and they come over here and don't realize exactly how this stuff is done, and this fuel deal is a big deal. They check all these cars, especially the go-or-go-home cars, and if they don't, that fuel sample doesn't match exactly what is pumped out of the ground from the gas pumps at the track, then they're out.
Crew Chief Andy Punch was fined $10,000, suspended 4 events by NASCAR. And that's what they are appealing right now. And for Benny, second lap better, but it's probably not going to be good enough. 30.41 seconds. And right now we have 4 drivers locked in. Actually 5 total with Johnny Chapman and Mr. Andrews. Tim's locked himself in with that run.
I'll tell you what, I hope he can win that appeal. But it's going to be a tough one. When a driver goes up and says, look, I ordered Sunoco, and that's not what showed up. That's a tough one. NASCAR don't want to hear that.
So as qualifying continues in the go-or-go-home section, Mike Harmon will be next out, the 51-year-old from Birmingham, Alabama. And again, now he'll be compared to Jeremy Clements' time, because Clements will be the next to lock in. Unless Mr. Harmon can go quicker.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, that isn't good.
Yeah, I saw that. Got down the apron, just on the edge of the apron, and saw a little tire smoke where it bottomed out a little bit on the fender.
Well, Mike has some experience here at Nashville. He's raced here 8 times prior. His best Nashville start, though, 28th back in June of '03. And that bobble, you can see how it cost him on the lap tracker. He's going to basically throw away this lap.
The problem with these guys that have to make it on time is they don't, you know, they have that problem. They can't just say, okay, I'm going to abort and come in. They have to try to get a faster lap. And you see Mike Harmon trying hard, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to race his way in.
It's called not quitting, man. You just can't quit. I mean, if you mess up that first lap, you got to put it in your head where I messed up. And what happens, a lot of these drivers try to make it up on the second lap, and they overdrive the car like we talked earlier, and it gets them in more trouble.
Well, and the truth is, though, they were 47th on the practice charts. The fastest they ran yesterday was 31.2, and you can see they're 39th, and they ran a 31 flat, and that's not enough to come close to locking Mike Harmon and the team in. Jeremy Clements is now locked in, which means Scott Wimmer is next up, as we're going to have a quick break, and then we'll come back to conclude this go-or-go-home section of qualifying here at the Nashville Superspeedway as we get ready for today's race at 3 Eastern. What's your destination for the NBA tomorrow? ABC, of course. 1 Eastern, it's going to be the Mavs and the Hornets. Then at 3:30 Eastern, big Eastern Conference battle. The Celtics and the Cavs. It's all on ABC. The NBA on ABC. And it's Sunday with coverage beginning at 12:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And while we were on break, you see Andy Ponstein, he ran both his laps, 30.54 seconds. The fastest for him, not good enough to bump his way into a guaranteed spot. It did lock in Scott Wimmer, however. So next up will be Jeff Green, trying to stay in. He's the man that everybody will be chasing from here on out. And we end up now with the 52 of Brad Teague.
Brad Teague's car owner, Jimmy Means, has been inducted into the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame in Huntsville, Alabama. That's his hometown. That's a pretty good accomplishment for Jimmy Means. He's been at this sport, working in this sport, driving cars, crew chief, car owner. Been around a long time and done a great job.
And NFL great John Stallworth is also in that group being inducted. So it's
Pretty good
a
list.
select group. Take a look at that hood. You can see the dash for cash. We'll get a chance to explain what that's all about for you on the hood of Brad Teague's car. Brad's first lap 30.4, not good enough to lock him in. Of the go-or-go homers, lap 2 not doing very well either.
Not looking good for Brad, but it looks good for Jeff Green, who will be the next car.
As he comes across the stripe, does he improve? Nah, not really. 30.704. So he stays outside, and so that locks in Jeff Green and leaves Mr. Gordon next up. And we mentioned the dash for cash. What's for the nationwide standalone vets? 4 of them, in fact. Nationwide Insurance put up an additional $150,000 for the series regulars and double-duty drivers who run full-time in both series. Now, you get $25,000 extra if you win here at Nashville, Kentucky, Iowa, or Memphis. If a non-regular wins, the money rolls over, and the points leader of those 4 races gets a $50,000 bonus at year-end from Nationwide Insurance. Nice program.
Yeah, it's a good program. So Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, they're running full time. But the rest of the Cup drivers over here, like Michael Waltrip, David Reagan, guys like that, they're not eligible because they're not running full time in the series. So if you do win this race, 25 grand, and like you said, Marty, at the end of the year, whoever's got the most points gets an additional 50 grand. So those guys are pretty excited about that.
And there's the 4 races right on the hood as well.
Makes these standalone events very important for these guys. Put a lot of emphasis and effort into these races.
Let's go back out trackside because Curtis Davis is on his qualifying effort, and he is in the green ahead of Benny Gordon. And Davis, yes, he has locked himself in with his first lap at 30.29 seconds.
This would be a good time for the crew chief to say, hey, we don't need to run a second lap. We're locked into the race. Don't do anything to put your car at risk here.
Well, looks like he's not listening to you there, crew chief.
He said, yeah, but I can go faster.
And he is going faster. Comes across the stripe, so a very good run for Curtis. In fact, wow, he moves up to the 20th starting spot, 29.73 seconds. So he's saying, take that, crew chief. Well, we've talked to John West before the qualifying run. Let's talk to him after, Jamie.
And right now he sits 18th. You were a little squirrely on that first lap. How did you recover and get it in the field?
Yeah, I've got to tell you, it got a little nerve-wracking out there. I was hoping for a better first lap, but it really did come in for us that second lap. I think it was just the damp, cold air, and that's understandable because out here it's pretty cold this morning. But we're hoping we'll have us a pretty good race today. 18th, if it holds off, it'll be a pretty good start position for us. I'd rather have the inside, but well, beggars can't be choosers.
A lot of nerves down here, a lot of rookies in the field, and that's why we call it the Opportunity 300. Marty?
All right, thanks, Jamie, and a big smile on John West Townley's face, and you can understand why. On the track right now, a couple of guys have been flip-flopping cars. It's Brian Keselowski. Originally, Dennis Setzer was supposed to be in the 96 and Brian in the 26, but then all of a sudden yesterday they decided to change, and they've stayed with it.
Their team cars decided to switch cars and see maybe it was a better combination with drivers in these swapped cars, and it worked. First lap for Brian Keselowski is 37th, but that locks him into the field.
Yeah, he's actually better than Benny Gordon's time by a full half a second, and that does lock him in, and he's going even quicker again. There's Bob Keselowski in the glasses.
Andy, if these guys are just trying to get in the race, and if they do get locked in that first lap, I don't understand at all why they do run that second lap.
Well, I mean, if they can move themselves up in the field and plan on racing, I mean, this is it's all about getting a good finish.
Well, he'll move up to 33rd with that second lap of 30.04 seconds. So right now, with a total of 43 cars that have taken times, 2 that did not, obviously, David Green and Mark Green. Still have a few cars to go.
And now his teammate, the 26 car.
That'll be Dennis Setzer. Of course, Dennis, big in the truck series, has 8 truck starts here. His best start in that series was 3rd. His best finish was 5th.
There's another driver that can flat get it done. Sensor's won a lot of races in the past, all around the country. He's got a big right foot. Was up a little short track the other day, actually running that car that had run at Bristol, and Dennis was up there running the Cup car trying to get in a race in Martinsville.
Dennis, a great driver, and Martinsville is one of his best tracks. He's from my hometown. I've raced with Dennis quite a bit. Local bull ring there at Hickory Speedway.
In qualifying, got rained out at Martinsville. He didn't make it. They started on points.
Well, Dennis, who
can't practice for that, can you?
He can't practice for that one.
Dennis, who is trying to make his first ever nationwide start here at Nashville, has just locked himself in with a first lap of 30.23.
That's the information you need. He says you're in. Now Dennis can go for a second lap, but he knows that he doesn't have to risk it. You know, risk tearing the car up. Just try to get a little better lap, and he is getting a faster lap here.
You know, I asked that question a while ago. Why would they run that second lap? It's because they're racers. They do want to qualify better, but it's in my mind they're just trying to get in the race and not tear their cars up. I guess that's the reason I asked that question.
Well, as he crosses the line, he does improve. 30.06, moves him to 34th. We can tell you that Andy Ponstein, Mike Harmon have now been bumped from the field permanently. And, of course, David Green and Mark Green did not take their qualifying runs, and they're on the trailer as well. So as Dennis brings the Team 26 car, let's talk to the driver of the 96, Jamie.
Well, I asked him because you look at the door right here, Dennis Setzer, but it's Brian Keselowski, so why the swap?
Well, we're really trying to get the 26 car locked into the points, so we struggled the last couple weeks in qualifying, and in practice, we're right there on the edge, and well, we just don't need that right now. So, but Dennis got going a little better in my car, and I did all right in this one, so we just decided to go ahead and put Dennis in. He's going to go race the car and try to get the best we can, get the thing up there in points again like we were earlier in the year. And, you know, hey, I got this one in. This is our money-making car right now. It's what we got to do to race. But, you know, with no sponsors, it's a little tough, but we're trying to make everything happen.
The 96, the moneymaker. Marty?
And let me correct myself. The 07 car will be in because of the very point that Rusty was, there's the other name, the point that Rusty was making earlier, that we're on the current points, and the 07 is in that top 30, so David Green will be racing. So I wonder if they'll change the names before 3 o'clock. I doubt it. On those 2 cars, what do you think?
Who
probably
cares?
Not. They don't. Obviously.
That car was way up the racetrack there. He was holding on for dear life on that lap.
26-year-old Ryan Hackett is the man we're talking about right now, as we are down to the last 2 cars in qualifying that have a chance to make it in on time. And the time you got to beat is Benny Gordon's 30.416.
And he does not do it.
Nope.
Oh, and Benny Gordon locks himself in with the last car that goes out. I mean, that's pressure, Andy. When you're sitting down and you're waiting, that is pressure. And you get it by the last car.
So Ryan does not qualify, and that will bring us down to Shelby Howard, the 23-year-old from Greenwood, Indiana.
Ooh, I better back up. That wasn't the last car, was it?
One more.
One more getting ready to go out, yeah.
Can you hold your breath again?
Sneak one more in on you, and right now it's Brad Teague.
I was holding my breath for Benny Gordon, but he did get locked in.
Well, right now, Brad Teague is holding his breath, and Shelby Howard's going to have to hold his for a couple laps to see if he can get this car around here fast enough to get in.
Now the lap tracker, and that is compared to Brad's time, and wow, well into the green. Whoa.
Yeah, but he has to chase the car up the hill there.
Yeah, he overdrove that corner. That baby flew down into turn 1 and went all the way up the middle of the racetrack.
Now it's stabilizing a little bit, but starting to head red. Now coming back into green. This is going to be fun here. Whoops, here we go again. This is like a roller coaster on this car.
I'm starting to get dizzy.
He's going to get it done.
He's going to be all right. Yep. And he does. Shelby Howard with a 30.34 by 1/10 of a second takes care of business and locks himself into the field. And he's going to take the second lap, and this is a lot more consistent.
He's going to see if he can get up the top 20 here.
This will be his first start in the Nationwide Series here at Nashville. It'll be the 13th time in the series. And here he comes across the line, and he does improve up to the 35th position at 30.06. So now the field is set, and for the first time in his Nashville career, Carl Edwards is going to start on the pole. Yeah, he likes the sound of that. And we'll be back to talk to him here at the Nashville Superspeedway.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Brought to you by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And AT&T, your world delivered.
And qualifying has just concluded. We'll show you the grid, and there's your pole sitter, Carl Edwards. The good news is Carl's on the pole. The bad news for Carl, the last 5 Nashville pole winners have not finished in the top 10. Let's take a look at the field, guys.
You see Joey Logano starting on the outside pole. Michael McDowell looking to make the most of this opportunity race.
Yeah, you see Kyle Busch, he was on the outside. If you're going to win this race, you better put a bullseye in that guy's bumper and try to outrun him.
On down through the field, Jason Leffler in row number 11 all the way through to row number 20 as we're quickly going through. And there's Benny Gordon, the last man on the 43 car field later today. Let's talk to Concrete Carl. Shannon?
Well, he has 3 wins here at Nashville, but this is your first pole. Your best start before this weekend was 3rd. How important is it for you guys to start up front here at this track?
Well, this will be great. This will give us a great, pit stall, and couldn't remember what that was called, where you stopped the car.
That thing, you know.
Maybe that's part of my pit stop problem. My guys did a great job. Dan, all the guys made the car really easy to drive. We got a great draw. It looks like the sun might creep out. It might get a little warmer, so it's going to be a great day for racing. So, this will be a good Easter weekend. If you haven't gone shopping for your Easter dinner, Save-A-Lot is the place to go. It'll be a lot cheaper to fill that shopping cart at Save-A-Lot.
All right, the 60 is on the pole here at Nashville. Marty?
And of course, Roush Racing looking for their 100th win in the Nationwide Series. That's their best chance. What do you think?
Well, the way this thing run today, they got a good shot at getting it.
All right, racing's going to be coming your way in just a few hours with the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Shell. You'll see it today at 3 Eastern on ESPN. Coming up next, it'll be the 2008 World's Strongest Man competition. Congratulations once again to pole winner Carl Edwards. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Till we meet again.